Welcome and thanks for viewing this video, which is an introduction to the Sunshine Online Decodable Library. The Decodable Library is a digital platform for the Sunshine Phonics Decodable Print program. This video will take a brief look at how this new digital Sunshine Online Decodable Library looks and works. We will cover how the digital program aligns with the print program, the learning that is covered in the program, and suggestions on the pace of teaching. We will then look at how the digital decodable library is structured, along with the student activities and teacher resources found in the program. Finally, we'll look at how the decodable library can be used by teachers and how to get started. We'll first review, very briefly, what the Sunshine Phonics Decodable Print program is and what it comprises. The print program is an evidence-based structured synthetic phonics program for the first 3 years of school. It is aligned with the latest science of reading and science of learning research. Through explicit, systematic teaching, students are taught the foundational alphabetic code-breaking skills that are essential for success in reading, writing, and spelling. Students learn the letter-sound relationships for the English language in a systematic way, and then practice saying and blending those sounds by reading words, captions, sentences, and finally connected text. It is a complete program that includes 180 decodable books, both fiction and non-fiction. Decodable books are tools that allow students to practice the letter-sound relationships they are learning. The program also contains 5 teacher books containing explicit lesson plans and student activity sheets for every story, along with phonics assessment sheets and word banks. The program also has 5 free downloadable assessment tools that allow teachers to screen students and assess phonics, fluency, comprehension, and encoding, writing. We also have plenty of other supporting material such as sound cards and word cards and free resources for both teachers and students such as games, reading lists, charts, box labels, and plenty more. Now, our 180 decodable books have a digital platform. Our existing digital resource, Sunshine Online, has been divided into 2 libraries. The 900 authentic texts that were already hosted on Sunshine Online are now in the leveled library. And our 180 decodable books have been added and named the Decodable Library. This new digital resource can be used both in the classroom and by students at home for consolidation, review, and practice of phonics skills and reading, and to share with the caregivers. The Decodable Library is not just a collection of ebooks. We'll come back to the library's features in more detail shortly, but to summarize, the main features include the following. Books are unlocked in sequence. This ensures that students learn the appropriate phonics skills before opening a book, so they will have the appropriate knowledge to attempt to read it. Before reading a book, the new phonemes, sounds, that students will focus on are modelled for them. Note here that our decodable library is our Australian version and the voice is Australian. Segmenting and blending of sounds to read focus words from the book are modelled. Tricky words are modelled for the students to repeat. Next, students open the book they are working on. These are the Australian versions with Australian artwork. Students can read the book independently. If they need support, they can listen to the text being read. Students record themselves blending words, reading tricky words, and reading the text, and teachers have access to all student recordings. There are also 8 digital assessments. Teacher resources such as lesson plans from the printed teacher books are provided. Those familiar with the print program will know that it is arranged over 2 series. Series 1 consisting of 70 decodable books and Series 2 consisting of 110 decodable books. The Decodable Library combines all 180 books. This chart shows the correlation between the two series and the Decodable Library. The Decodable Library is arranged over 8 sets. The first 3 sets cover simple code. The next 3 sets cover complex code and consolidation of adjacent consonants. And the final 2 sets cover alternative spellings of sounds students already know, i.e., extended code. Let's take a look at what is taught in those sets in a little more detail. The scope and sequence is a summary of what is taught and when it is taught. The Decodable Library follows the same scope and sequence as the print program. Sets 1 to 3 of the Decodable Library, which totals 60 books, covers simple code, that is, short vowels and consonants. There is a focus on vowel-consonant words like at and it, and consonant-vowel-consonant words, for example, map, got, pen, and so on. Once students have learned all the sounds for the set, they can begin to read words containing those sounds, and then the books for that set. At that point, students are also ready to move on to learning the next set of new sounds. The 60 books in sets 4 to 6 cover complex code and consolidation of adjacent consonants. In sets 4 to 5, students learn consonant digraphs and vowel digraphs and trigraphs. Set 6 does not introduce any new sounds, but it gives students the opportunity to apply the sounds they already know in words with adjacent consonants or consonant clusters, which students can often find challenging initially. The 60 books in sets 7 to 8 cover extended code. Extended code is alternative spellings for sounds that students already know. For example, the first 2 books cover a new spelling for the sound f. Students know that f can be spelt if, and now they learn that it can also be spelt ph, as in phone, dolphin, and so on. The Decodable Library follows the same scope and sequence as the print program. Now we know what is going to be taught in the program. We can look at how much time students might need to cover all that learning. The Teen Planner gives teachers a suggested guide as to the pace which they can introduce new phonemes and graphemes. For example, we suggest that in Year 1, Term 1, teachers teach students all 8 sounds and letters that are taught in Set 1, that is, s, a, t, p, n, d. Once students know those sounds and letters, they will start to read the Set 1 books and move on to learn the letters and sounds in Set 2. The term planner is just a suggestion as, of course, teachers will adjust it according to how their students progress. However, as a guide, we suggest that in the first year of school, students who are progressing well will have reached the middle of Set 4. Term planners are available for the first 3 years of school. By the end of Year 2, students may have started reading books in Set 7 of the Sunshine Online Decodable Library, which is the beginning of extended code, alternative spellings. By the end of the 3rd year of school, students may have finished our entire decodable program. For those students, we have other decodable books they can read, depending on their level of fluency, such as our Reading Road series, which consists of 50 books of high interest, but written to a low reading ability. More confident and competent students can move on to our Next Steps decodable fictional chapter books. Now let's look at the Decodable Library itself. This is the student view. By default, books in the Decodable Library are unlocked one at a time in sequence. This matches the theory behind the science of reading and structured literacy in that students learn sounds and what letters represent those sounds. They then read words containing those sounds and then connected texts. Students are never required to read a book that contains a word they can't decode. When students click on the cover of the book they are to read, such as this Set 1 book, Sip It, they see a menu of 3 activities. These activities must be done in order: listen and say, read, record. First, they do the listen and say activity. This activity lets students practice and apply their phonic knowledge at sound and word level. The student reviews the phonemes they are currently learning and practices segmenting and blending those sounds to read words. Both sounds and focus words are modelled for the student. This program is our Australian version and the accent is Australian. New Zealand teachers may wish to model certain vowel sounds themselves for students. After clicking on a word, students hear each sound in the word segmented and then blended together to read the word. Students then record themselves segmenting and blending the word. Finally, in this pre-reading review, students listen to the tricky words being read. Tricky words are a small number of non-decodable words found in the books that are necessary in order to be able to tell a story. Students record themselves reading the word. All recordings are available in the teacher admin area for teachers to review. In the second activity, students read the story. Students can read independently at their own pace, or they can choose to have the text read to them by clicking on the speaker button. To support students in the first 100 titles, students can also click on any decodable word to hear the sounds segmented and blended. In the third activity, students record themselves reading the text. Students can review the recording and repeat it as often as they wish to develop fluency. Once students have completed a book, there is an acknowledgement with certificates, trophies, and avatars. If you wish to see the student activities in action, you can watch our student walkthrough video. It is available on sunshineonline.co.nz. Once students have completed all books in a set, they complete a digital assessment to assess their level of mastery. This assesses phoneme knowledge and articulation, ability to segment and blend sounds to read words, including nonsense words, and ability to read tricky words. Many resources can be downloaded. These include the full lesson plans from the printed teachers' books, along with quick notes that are in the back of the printed books. Student activity sheets for each book are also downloadable, along with lists of words for reading practice. Here is an example of the start of a lesson plan for a Set 1 book. Lesson plans contain information on the learning intention and explicit teaching guidance for before reading, during reading, and after reading for every book. In the teacher administration area, teachers can listen to and review all recordings made by students. This enables them to ensure that students are progressing and to identify any gaps in learning. Teachers have the opportunity here to assign particular books to students if they wish. This can be used to provide practice to fill specific knowledge gaps and also to allocate home reading, which allows a teacher to ensure that students read books at home that they can read confidently. This slide gives a brief snapshot of the teacher administration area, showing how teachers can track student progress and access their recordings. For more guidance, we have detailed video user guides to help teachers get up and running with the Decodable Library on the Sunshine Online website. The schwa is an unstressed neutral sound. It replaces the pure vowel sound in an unstressed syllable in multisyllabic words. The schwa needs to be explicitly taught. Our program articulates the schwa where it comes up. For example, the words teacher, camper, surfer, and shorter all end in the schwa sound. The Decodable Library has many applications in the classroom. For example, a large screen is perfect for whole class explicit instruction. For example, daily review of phoneme articulation, segmenting and blending, reading tricky words. iPads can be used for small group instruction, e.g. focused group reading, and oral retell and discussion. iPads can also be used for partner reading and for independent reading. The Decodable Library is perfect for linking reading in the classroom with home reading. Schools can give their students their login details for them to use at home. Students can then read and reread books as often as they wish and whenever they wish. This also means no more lost or damaged books. We have a parent letter available on our website, on which a student's login details can be written to send home. It also explains a little bit about using the program to parents. Our website, sunshineonline.co.nz, contains a lot more information on both the Decodable Library and the Levelled Library. And all New Zealand schools can apply for a grant to enable them to access both libraries, Levelled and Decodable, for this year completely free of charge. Head to the website to apply, or scan this QR code. Our Quick Start Guide for teachers gives quick and easy instructions on how to get set up with the Sunshine Online Decodable Library. It covers setting a student up in the system and how to assign work to a student. If you do not wish to assign specific work to a student, the default option is that books will unlock in order as the student completes work on the previous book. In addition, there is more detailed information available through video user guides on the website. These give information about the program, along with practical how-to guidance. Thanks for your time. We hope you find the Sunshine Online Decodable Library both a valuable support to the print program and a key teaching and learning tool in its own right. Please contact us with any questions, whether it's about the Decodable Library or the print program. We are here to help.